Hello everyone, this is a channel to share jewellery knowledge and bury my industry knowledge. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you will subscribe to the top row. I saw someone on the internet. It's send. When the picture comes out, it's about Tiffany. If you have a blowing stick, it's about HK to $500. I started with it. Think it's April Fool's Day on April 1st. Is it fun? If I checked online, it turns out that this wave blowing stick is really worth selling. Isn't it really worth blowing waves? Actually, I'm not surprised. That is, Tiffany is well known. Am I besides biology? That is to say, they sell stationery, silk scarves, watches, bowls, dishes, pots, basketballs, etc. After all, I checked online and someone said to sell some wire thieves. What happened after that? I really checked online. I didn't think there was a steel wire wiper for sale. I thought it was true or false. What happened today? Let me continue to talk about Tiffany, the king of gifts. Before, I have a YouTube that says that 12 girls must know jewellery brands. Before that, I would detail them one by one. So this time I'll talk about Tiffany. Everyone will scare you when you think about it, or when did you start to know Tiffany? It's a brand with a good signature blue box and a classic 6-claw diamond ring. According to the voting survey of netizens on the American website Ranker, what about Tiffany? It ranks second among the most popular jewellery brands, and the number one is Cartier. That is, when I am in this group, can you know which brand in detail? The time of array. Want to buy something? Hello, my girlfriend. I asked my sister, and my sister said that you bought the wrong one. The wrong person died. So good. So I went in. I've never been to such a high-end place. It seems very different from the places I usually go to. I was a teenager when I was a teenager. And it was a little stressful, even when I didn't talk online, to ask people how to buy gifts, what's the introduction, and I wouldn't go to buy women's magazines. How do you know this brand first? When you talk about Tiffany, you have to talk about it. Animal colour Tiffany blue. If you want to find a blue colour in the Mall 9, you all know that it is Tiffany. In fact, this blue one is inspired by shell casings. It is a kind of bird called the soup bird. It comes from America. The egg colour is Tiffany blue. In European and American cultures, this one is even more egg blue. It is a symbol of happiness, so it represents the loyalty of a lover. So Boss Tiffany used this face back then. It represents a brand. Why is it a colour? What about Tiffany? It's so special. Go to this Pantone. The colour authority is called modulation. A colour number is registered and buried in 1837. Trademark Tim, 1837 is the year Tiffany started its business. Because I bought a trademark, except Tiffany. What about other brands? What about this colour? It feels like she is really sweet. Tiffany is really a ditch girl. I know her. There are flat gifts in Tiffany for girls and they are all expensive. It's really a gift for girls. It's the wrong person to die. If it's expensive, just buy it. It's so wrong that I really started making jewellery. I just think Tiffany is a brand. It's really a marketing guru. Is it a derogatory term? Tiffany is a good product. The same market is combined. In fact, it was in 1837. I founded this company only to sell stationery shops. What about Tiffany, a founder? I thought Tiffany was a good feminine name, but in fact it wasn't. It was a man with a beard. I didn't think it was romantic at all. I knew a few girls named Tiffany. Tiffany back then. John created the first mail-order catalogue in the United States, and the cover colour of this mail-order catalogue is Tiffany Brewer. Hey, you can think about it. In the internet era, Amazon eBay was one of the first companies to engage in ES-shop e-commerce online. And Tiffany is one of the first batch of mail-order catalogue companies in the United States. In fact, it is a very slippery era, and it may be hard to imagine at home. So what about Tiffany? In fact, you are very business-minded. Think about it. Tiffany was originally only an ordinary company on Broadway in New York. It sold stationery, groceries, coverings, porcelain, etc. It sold goods on the first day of opening, and the total value was only $4. It's the same as 9 cents and $8, Tiffany. Actually, it's a taboo to avoid your website. There are all brand stories told. You can go from a grocery company to the famous store Fifth Avenue in New York and become a world-famous jewellery brand. It was an era in those days. What are the European aristocrats? It began to decline, and the United States was booming. So many emerging rich people in the United States had to bring jewelry in order to prove their identity and status. So the founder found this business opportunity, find some channels to find some money. European aristocrats bought some ancestral jewelry at a low price and then sold the jewelry to some new American aristocrats. And slowly the business became bigger and bigger, even after the fall of the French Empire, even contracted to share all the royal jewelry. So these jewelry are among the wealthy Americans. It set off some craze. Because jewelry profits are high and Tiffany is demanding food, they all slowly put their focus on it. Above the newspaper, this period is so profitable, so change the shop, redecorate the new shop address. It's Fifth Avenue, a famous shopping street in the United States, so Tiffany is actually really smart and has a lot of ideas. In 1858, there was a cable in the United States. If you want to replace it, just use some connections to buy it. You don't need 16 miles of old cables, then clean it and cut it. Suddenly it was wrapped in gold, and then the commemorative value was so high, and there was an engineer's signature, so some waste materials originally wanted by people were turned into some exquisite souvenirs, and then it was changed into a business. Actually, Tiffany, you have done so many legendary things, including Tiffany in 1885. Redesigned the national migration in the United States. What is national migration? In fact, you just have an English logo on the back of the US $1 mosquito bill. What about Tiffany? Has it been redesigned? There are many of them. In fact, you have seen them before. They are all designed by Tiffany. In 1967, I helped the American Football League NFL win a Super Bowl, but you listen to it all the time. Super Bowl wins a trophy like this. It was designed by Tiffany Jong-yu in 1978. NBA championships and trophies are all designed. Since 1987, I have helped the US Tennis Association win the US Open Tennis Trophy. I have done it all until I get home, and there is the United States. There are some special porcelains in the White House. In fact, they are all made by Tiffany. You can imagine how many porcelains are actually made. If you don't say it, you won't know the truth. Many of the successive presidents of the United States bought Tiffany as a gift to their wives. In 1861, everyone knew President Lincoln. When President Lincoln was President Lincoln, he bought a pearl necklace from Tiffany for US $530 and gave it to his wife. So Mrs. Lincoln just wears a tiff. When making a pearl necklace, I attended the inauguration ceremony of my husband's president. Lincoln, the president, was so famous. After that, I set a precedent. After that, many American presidents followed this tradition and followed it, like old President Roosevelt. What about a ring for a marriage proposal? Tiffany bought it. If someone assassinated a president, Ganlai would give it to a woman, that is, a wife. If there was a gift, it would be tied to a Tiffany design. Heart needle, what about 2 pine cones on it? If you are full of rubies, eating a leaf is like eating a pine cone with diamonds. It's 3-dimensional and 360 degree, and it hurts ruby. It's such a needle in the heart. It was in 1960. Kennedy? To celebrate the birth of a daughter, I thanked my wife so much, so I gave me this fierce needle. I think this tradition should be kept alive. It's so hard for a woman to give birth to a baby. As a husband, I should definitely buy diamonds and jewellery. Give it to my wife, you can find me if you need it. Let's tell me an interesting story. It was 100 years ago. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States. Who was Eisenhower? During the Second World War, a marshal came. I understood it because I was playing some chess games. I was a 5-star general. I upgraded so much. I had to pay money to buy this person, so I went to Tiffany back then. I originally wanted to buy a piece of jewellery for my wife. I asked Tiffany's boss at that time. The president came. The boss just said hello. Hey, I'm the President of the United States. Can I give me some discount? The boss at that time just said something. I'm sorry. When a Lincoln came to buy it, I'm all discount. Eisenhower heard, wow, you discount Lincoln, right? How could I have to pay the full price in the end? Let's talk about rubies first. Actually, Tiffany, you can say that you are very creative in creating jewellery because you use many different stones and you can tell the truth about these stones that were not popular in those days. So business-minded because these stones were worthless back then, and when these stones were used to make jewellery, you could buy them low and sell them high. But anyway, in 1903, Lai Lai used a kind of gemstone to spread in Chinese, and it was called zilihui. Although zilihui at home, it was not too expensive. I had a Pakistani expert who always criticized some jewelry. Zili waved it to me and wanted me to use it to make jewelry, and my family had a lot of pana with the character Kun on hand. Actually, he was Tiffany's chief. In 1910, the scientist George Conze was named after the doctor's name. In 1910, Morgan was introduced after the name of J.P. Morgan, a financial circle at that time, so it was called Morganise, which is a kind of red beryl. In 1968, tanzanite was used, and in 1974, savorite was used. What about the stones? In fact, although I don't even talk about high-priced stones so far, it's about those stones back then. The price is so affordable, of course, the colour is so beautiful, so I add it to the jewellery element, so I always have a concept of making jewellery. In fact, the staple food is more expensive than some matching stones. That is, for example, if you have a 10-calorie diamond, the stones on the side are more expensive than the main stone, because the main stone is more expensive than the main stone. In those days, some such as kun and morganite were used. That is, there were many beautiful diamonds on the side. In fact, the matching stones on the side were more expensive than the main stone, but they were all good. What kind of method to use courage like this? One way to imagine how successful this brand was in those days is that some customers bought jewellery next year under false names, not because of the value of a piece of jewellery. Let's talk about some classic models. Everyone knows it. Many people say when buying proposal rings, 6 claws are definitely tied to 4 claws. In fact, what is the 6-claws method? It was invented by Tiffany in 1886. It uses a 6-clawed parking design to hold a diamond up. Is it a way of inserting a wound? It can allow more light to enter. The inside of the diamond makes the diamond even more shiny. But I think it's so ordinary, but it's a setting that was 130 years ago. And today, 130 years later, everyone still makes proposal rings and engagement rings. It's close to standard, and it's so sharp. In addition, this one must be said to be a Roman number design with a ring. Holding your hands, it's so patient, it's so good to count the words. In fact, this design is derived from it. At that time, the Tiffany store was 9 feet high and had a Roman clock. It was unveiled in 1853. Of course, there are some Roman numerals on this Roman clock, and it still stands at the entrance of the flagship store on 5th Avenue. Above, you can look at it next time you travel. It is the oldest public clock in New York City. The Roman numerals and concepts come from this clock. In fact, this model has been very old. In recent years, one of them is from Rome. I think the new style is so beautiful and special. Everyone can refer to it. There is another one, the signature style. I won't want to talk about it. Everyone may not know what it is. There is one called Return to Tiffany series. It is similar, and it is a keychain tag. If you buy it at home, the 3 words Return to Tiffany will be engraved on it. What is Return to Tiffany? In fact, every piece of Return to Tiffany jewellery back then was actually there. What does 0 number do? That is, if you fall so hard and the water hits it, you will see it. Return to Tiffany. Then you can turn this piece of jewellery to 5th Avenue in New York and turn over Tiffany. Tiffany can turn over the number to find the owner. In fact, this concept is actually different from some military tags and dog tags, but the same design is used in GIA. I believe that many young children and girls can use it for entry-level Tiffany jewellery because sterling silver returns to Tiffany. So you are talking about 1,000 mosquitoes and you already have a deal? Speaking of classics, in 1961, I talked about the classic movie Breakfast at Tiffany's all the time. It is called Tiffany's Breakfast in Chinese. What about Tiffany's flagship store? It's the first time I appeared in a movie. Andre, the protagonist, is so beautiful that this play is absolutely a classic. It was selected as one of the top 100 romance films in history, that is, this series of dramas. I finished watching it. What if a play scores 10 points? Andrea's flat style accounts for 8.5 minutes because it's really beautiful and she can afford to wear some big pieces of jewellery. Do you want to find a woman who can afford jewellery? It's really not easy. I couldn't search the information on the internet, but I remember this drama. Tiffany paid for it. Think about how sharp a business mind is. It's like a special appointment in Hong Kong. Or there may be some interviews that put a few bottles of water and cans of tea on the stage for promotion. How sharp is your marketing department for making a classic play for 100 years? Since 2017, there has been a restaurant called Blue Box Cafe, which has opened Tiffany's flagship spot on 5th Avenue in New York. It is a flagship spot for others to have breakfast and high tea. It's like it, and it's a check-in slot. How do you know how to do marketing? A company's movie promotional poster for Tiffany breakfast appeared on the face. Andrew wore a big yellow diamond necklace. Then some ribbon designs come. If you are a Tiffany lover or a gemstone lover, you must understand it. How important is a legendary yellow diamond to this brand? This yellow diamond is from a mine in Canberra, South Africa. It was dug out. There is a company in mainland China called Kimberley, so this mine is so famous, it's so scared that Tiffany spent US $18,000 to buy a rough diamond. It only weighs 287 calories. I just cut it so many pieces, so the largest piece is 128 cars. So this yellow diamond is named Tiffany, so this yellow diamond is the largest, most beautiful and delicate yellow diamond in the world. One of the diamonds, and this yellow diamond is permanently displayed at the Tiffany flagship store on 5th Avenue. Apart from Andrea Pin's yellow turning necklace design, Tiffany actually changes the design of this yellow diamond all the time, just like Paris in 1995. Is it an art museum? Just show a design called Bird on a Rock, which is a design tied to the bird on the stone. What about Tiffany? Which design to use? I have used a lot of different writings below, which look like tanzanite. Other fine stones all have a bird on it. One is a classic model. I help you. I don't know how many customers have customized this model. The top is made of birds, and some of them ask me to have a whole butterfly. The most weird thing is that I have tried to have a frog on it, so this one is a classic design, and the latest one is only 2 years old. Well, Lady Gaga, the red carpet on the Oscar is also tied with a yellow diamond, so of course it is another design. So in the end, Tiffany in 2021, just sell it to LVMH Group. Well, in fact, LVMH is a very big company. I think many of you may know it, so in fact it is no longer an independent company. In fact, Tiffany is a jewellery brand. Compared with other jewellery brands, the entry price is actually relatively low. That is, it is not easy to talk about. I have gone to the cost of jewellery first. It's purely the goods inside. In fact, you can already buy Tiffany jewellery for thousands of dollars. Some silver necklaces and bracelets are tied to thousands of dollars. Although they are silver, they are all Tiffany, is it? So I think I really should buy Tiffany. Give it to my girlfriend. In fact, it's really a loser, even if it's a box and it's beautiful. When people see some girls and Tiffany, they are so happy. They don't even have any ties inside it. How good is it, but what does it have at home? Well, even if you go in, if you buy a gold chain, you will have 2,000 or 3,000 mosquitoes. Think about it. Give it to your girlfriend. One carries Tiffany and the other carries Fu. The style is different. It's offensive, but it's Tiffany Zhongping. Okay, I'm sharing this today. If you have any comments, I hope you can leave a message in the message area, or you can have a look. I talked about jewelry before. Remember to subscribe my channel on YouTube. See you next time. Bye.